Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, a bit of a different video today. Ivy League Gaming sadly has left the Raid content creator community. She's decided that she's temporarily done a quit Raid. It might be forever, it might be temporary. I will link her video down below if you want to kind of check out her reasonings. And I'll give my views on it today as well. Equally, people have been asking me, with a bit of a downturn in, let's say, community feeling towards Raid, what do I think of kind of Raid's future? How is it doing as a game? So I always do a deep dive at least once a month because my business is Raid Shadow Legends right now. We're a content creator business, but focused on Raid predominantly. So, you know, it would be pretty stupid if I didn't try and keep my finger on the pulse in terms of what's going on with this game and this genre. So we're going to do a bit of a deep dive into that today as well. And, I mean, I find this stuff interesting, but I'm going to look at some analytics of some of the other Raid creators, both on the rise and people that have left Raid and gone on to do other things, and just kind of get a feel for what does that mean. So, yeah, lots to unpack in this video. Hope you enjoy it because, for me, this stuff is actually quite fun. I used to be a sales director in a big blue-chip company before I was a content creator. I used to have to analyze the hell out of numbers. You have to make decisions on kind of like big, you know, 5-year plans for big company decisions. So yeah, I was always in the mix of this type of stuff and trying to set almost like a focus for a team for the future. So yeah, so this type of stuff's really interesting to me. So Ivy League Gaming, as I say, I pinned her video down below. She is someone that I would consider a friend in the community. I actually went to a wedding celebration along with some of the other HH Gaming team and Lady H, and you know, we went there and enjoyed the day. Her and Lau had a fantastic wedding in Romania, and I was able to kind of experience that firsthand. And, you know, if you'd asked me 3 years ago, do I think I'm going to be flying off to Romania to meet up with another content creator and, you know, joining their wedding celebration? Of course, I would say no. Are you crazy? Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm. I consider her a friend. And she did kind of speak to me about the decision before she made it. And obviously, it's a massive decision. Yeah, you're going away from security of a job. It's like any job, by the way. You've got job security. Sometimes you don't enjoy the job you're doing, but you've got security. Do you keep that security and keep your income, or do you go and find something else which you love and at least temporarily your income takes a hit? It was exactly that decision for me when I became a content creator. Yeah, I had a very stable, bloody good paying job. Yeah, that's the reality. And I was like, I'm throwing that in to become a content creator where all I can see right now is risk. Luckily for me, it's paid off, and I hope it pays off for Ivy Lee as well. She's leaving Raid basically because she's frustrated with the game. She's frustrated with the game. She's also a very long-time player of the game. Yeah, and for someone who's played for less than 6 months, you've got tons to do. You've got tons of champions to experiment with. You've got tons to build out. You're still trying to like improve your account. You're trying to progress, all that good stuff. When you played the game for more than 3 years, actually you're kind of just waiting for the next juicy bit of content or the next really fun hero champion to come out to brighten your day. Yeah, or what I do to try to make sure that I stay interested and motivated is things like the free-to-play series. When I get someone like an Acrizia, I have a lot of fun. I do account takeovers, which I still find really fun. So I have different ways to enjoy the game, which perhaps Ivy Lee wasn't doing or just doesn't kind of like, you know, tick the box for her. She's also gone and played a couple of other games, which she just loves. Yeah, and she's got that kind of passion back for a new game. And I get that as well. I play other games on the side of Raid, almost like in my downtime. Yeah, I'm playing League of Legends. I'm playing Valorant. I'm playing Teamfight Tactics. I'm playing Eternal Evolution. Yeah, these are all games that I play, which are not part of my job. Maybe Eternal Evolution has become that now because I love it so much. But yeah, they're not part of my job. Whereas Raid Shadow Legends, yeah, kind of is. But it's a job that I love, so I'm lucky. But yeah, Ivy Lee's moving on to Eternal Evolution and Infinite Magic Raid. 2 games in the same type of genre, but she just prefers them at the moment, and she's going to go and give those a good go. So yeah, all I would say is like her reasoning is totally sound, and I totally respect her decision. Yeah, I totally respect it, because you shouldn't be doing something which feels forced. Yeah, if it starts to feel really forced, you should probably take a different direction and throw more energy at something that you love. That's pretty sound, as long as you're comfortable that you're in a financial position to do it and all that type of stuff, which I'm sure she's talked over with Lau and Odd One Gaming and made sure they're happy with the decision. But I do feel for it, because she is someone who's always been in the community. Yeah, and one of the best things about Raid is we've got a brilliant community. She has been around the community for forever, since I've been a content creator, and it actually saddens me that she's going to be going. And I've honestly had so many messages in the last month of players saying, a bit fed up with Raid, do you want to give away my account? Generally, I say no to that. I don't like giving away accounts. But yeah, it's definitely like a time where I'm like, right, we probably need to have a decent deep dive. So we're going to do that now. We're going to deep dive into some of the other Raid stuff. But I just want to say all the best to Ivy Lee. And I'm sure she'll be massively successful in other games as well, because she's got the right type of personality, charisma, work ethic, all of those things. So I'm sure she'll do absolutely fine. She's also working now with HH Gaming on the website, by the way. So some of the articles you would have read around Hydra and some of the guides you would have read around Hydra, she's written. She's also helped us with a lot of the Eternal Evolution content, and she will continue to help us on the site, because she's very knowledgeable and she's actually very good at doing that. So yeah, anyway, let's move on to look at some analytics. So yeah, so Raid Shadow Legends crossed the $1 billion mark. So certainly they've made good money on this game. Is it still making good money is a question. This bit of info here I just thought was interesting. For H1 2022, they still made another 155 mil. Yeah, they're not short of a few quid. Raid Shadow Legends not short of a few quid. And what I would say to you is, would they be on this kind of like cash out mentality? Yeah, is Raid cashing out with all of the things they're doing right now? I think the opposite. Yeah, if you've got a cash cow of a game like Raid Shadow Legends is, then you're going to try and develop that game to the best of your ability. Is it always great? No. Do they go through these slumps of seemingly making crazy decisions month after month? Yes, they do. They tend to, though, come back out, and then they start to make several months of good decisions. And we've seen this kind of roller coaster with Raid over the last probably 18 months, honestly. They've just done this deal with Ronda Rousey. And yeah, I mean, hopefully that's going to bring in a lot of new players who are going to be interested in the game again. And that will give them the kind of emphasis to then move on and do some other stuff in the game as well. One of the other things I want to call out here, just on this graphic, Summoner's War has been around for a long time. Yeah, Raid's been around for 3 to 4 years, depending on what you read. But Summoner's War has been around, I think, like 8 or 9. And they're still in this insane position, and they're a similar kind of genre of game. Yeah, so don't think that just because you're frustrated with this game that Raid is going down the pan. It's definitely not. It's definitely not. It's a very clever business model. So when we look at Plarium then, this was probably the biggest shock to me out of all of the research I've done here. When I look at Plarium for last month, for November 2022, Mech Arena had more downloads than Raid Shadow Legends. I did not see that coming at all. I actually saw Ash did a video on Mech Arena yesterday, and I kind of looked at it. It doesn't look like a game I would enjoy, honestly, but he seems to be enjoying it a lot. But yeah, I was pretty shocked by this, and I started to look into it, and it turns out, actually I didn't, Saf did this. Turns out they've done some sort of collaboration with Neymar Jr. I don't know exactly what it is, honestly. I've not looked into it in any sort of detail, but maybe that's kind of pushed a load of players, a bit like what Raid are doing with Ronda. Maybe this is something to kind of help boost player base for Mech Arena. But yeah, that was a bit of a shock to me. So, but that aside, let's have a look here. So during the month of November, Aristocrat, who own Raid, own Plarium, they made 76 million. Yeah? And that, sorry, 76 million through mobile app revenue. One thing to be aware of here is Plarium Play does not count as mobile app revenue. Yeah, so just bear that in mind as well. But if you actually look at Raid as a game, it made 7 million of their revenue. So that's just on Apple. That's just on Apple. So basically double it. So probably about 14 million through the app stores and Android apps. 14 million of Aristocrats' 76 million is coming from Raid. Yeah, that's a massive share. That's actually a massive share of their income. Yeah. If you then add in Plarium Play on top of that, which I reckon would probably double it. And that's guessing. I don't have any stats for it, but I reckon probably double it. And then you'll start to understand that Raid is probably close to 30 to 40% of Aristocrats' mobile income. It's a massive portion of what they do. They have to make sure that this game stays their flagship, stays their kind of primary game, and they have to push a lot into keeping player base happy and bringing new players in. Doesn't always feel like it, but that's what they have to do because it's absolutely like a cornerstone of their business. Yeah, they're still getting tons of downloads, 100k download on Apple, to basically double it to get your Android as well. Probably then double that to get your Plarium Play as well. They're still getting somewhere close to 200,000 to 400,000 new players per month. And that's in a month really where we've seen a massive downturn in interest. Yeah, so just bear that in mind as well. This game constantly growing. Let's have a look then of where it sits in the top grossing games. So actually Marvel Contest of Champions is above it, which again is the first time I've seen that in a while. But Raid's still sitting in the top 10 as number 6. If we and actually they've got here as well already in their kind of description, obviously Ronda Rousey's coming in as a new legendary, blah, blah, blah. This is an interesting one to me. So I've started to do content on Eternal Evolution. Yeah, I absolutely love the game. In fact, it's one of the first games I turn on. I'm still obviously doing more content on Raid. Raid's my main game. But Eternal Evolution is a really, really fun game. So I wanted to see where it kind of sits. Bearing in mind it's only just launched globally, so it's got a lot of catching up to do if it wants to be one of the big boys. And we've seen games do this. Yeah, they come in and they drop out because they can't compete. They cannot compete with the sheer marketing power of some of these other more established games. And, you know, if you don't get players coming into your game, it just doesn't continue. And in fact, I was looking for Dislight, didn't even really feature in this kind of like top group. And I was looking for Ace. And again, it was basically non-existent, which was a game that everyone thought was going to be the one that would come in and go, you know? So, but yeah, if we look at like, you know, trends in terms of grossing in the US for the month of November in this type of genre, this is basically grossing for games, and I've picked out these games. So Marvel Contest of Champions, top 10, Raid, top 10. You've then got Eternal Evolution, Summoner's War, AFK Arena. Pretty similar position, honestly. So, you know, Summoner's War, as I say, been around for a long, long time, still doing extremely well. But interesting that Eternal Evolution is ahead of AFK Arena, which again is a very established game. And I'm shocked. I thought Eternal Evolution would be way further down because I've not really seen it advertised other than through the Raid group. Yeah, the Raid content creators, a few of us are playing it, a few of us are doing content on it. I've not seen like a load of like burst of advertising, but maybe I'm just not seeing it. I'm just missing it. I don't know. But yeah, certainly doing well in its first, you know, entry month into this genre. And if we look at what's this one here? Daily rankings for this is just for role-playing games. So the first one that I just showed you there, all games. This is role-playing games. Raid still sits firmly number 1. You've then got Eternal Evolution, Summoner's War. Similar type of picture, honestly. But yeah, it's just interesting to kind of see on Android here how well Raid is still doing in this kind of category. And then this one here, what's this one? This is just kind of looking at, if you look, instead of top grossing, this is like top 3 games in terms of downloads and stuff. So, you know, in this one, Eternal Evolution as a top 3 game is actually coming in as number 2. So, you know, you could kind of see Ivy Lee's thinking of, well, that's what I'm going to focus on. I'd imagine she's probably done some of this research herself and thought, look, I've had enough of Raid. I love Eternal Evolution. And I feel like it's actually a game that's gaining a lot of traction. And I can only look at it and say, it seems right. Like, she seems right. What else we got here? Yeah, so next thing I look at is, well, how's hellhades.com doing as a website? Yeah, how's the business doing from my point of view, from Fiction's point of view, Saf, everyone at the team? Are we doing it right? Are we seeing growth? Yeah, we're now, as of today, it's our birthday. Happy birthday. 2 years old as a website. And basically, you know, this is an insane graph for any business, but website traffic. Yeah, this is what this is basically showing. Website traffic, event count, number of events on the website. So you could see it was like steadily just growing at a crazy rate. We then had the war impact. And by the way, there's still a war going on. We still, you know, it's insane that this is still something that's happening in today's world, today's society. And anyway, I'm not going to get into politics, but it's insane that that's still going on. And it's also crazy that Raid have managed to bounce back, and, you know, credit to their team really for continuing to give us content and all that good stuff. You know, after that kind of drop, you can then see it's just kind of like steadily climbed. And we always get our biggest number of views on the site when there's a 2 times ancient shard event going on. And that's exactly what happened with this kind of first time we hit the 300k here, because of last weekend. We had 2 times ancients. But every 6 weeks, you can see we get a bit of a spike. But yeah, so in terms of the website, traffic for Raid Shadow Legends, and, you know, hellhades.com is the biggest site for this game, traffic has continuously grown. That's a pretty good read, I think. Obviously, the website has also improved in terms of its Google ratings and that type of stuff. So I guess we get kind of shown up more often than we used to. But yeah, I mean, just steady growth of a site which covers a game is pretty impressive to see, I think. And if I then look at people's YouTube kind of stats, now this one is interesting for me. This is my YouTube. There's a site here called Social Blade. Anyone can go on this and look. Basically, it gives you kind of like your rankings, how are your views doing, all that type of stuff. In the UK, as a YouTuber, I'm a B grade. I'm in the top 1,200 YouTubers for the UK, apparently. But that doesn't mean a lot, I guess. But yeah, it's quite fun. Quite fun to have a look at now and then. This is my views in the last couple of years. And you can see steadily grown. You can actually see Ultimate Death Knight boost right here. This is the lead up, Ultimate Death Knight boost. And then it's kind of gone a bit down into more like normality. But certainly still on an upward trajectory generally. Yeah, or at least maybe plateauing a bit. But it feels pretty good generally. If we look at Ash, I've not even looked at Ash's yet. Ash is oh, actually, I've got the wrong. That's his Clash with Ash. Sorry, wrong one. Okay, let's have a look at his Raid Shadow Legends one. And I guess a similar type of thing, really. Continues to grow. This is like the Ultimate Death Knight peak. It's come back down again, similar to mine. Scratch, who I feel like has been doing tons of it. I've seen Scratch doing tons more videos. And you can see his is growing. Nub Raids, obviously one of the new popular creators, I would say. One of the better creators in the scene now. Growing. And the last thing I wanted to look at was actually a creator who also left. So kind of tying it back to the start, talking about Ivy Lee. And, you know, someone taking a different direction to Raid. And that's Stu Gaming. So Stu was a big Raid creator when I first started. And continued to be a big creator up until the point that he left. And, I mean, you can see here, he was kind of like spiking around 1 million views a month. He hit this kind of big spike. I think this is when he was banned from the test server around that time. Maybe it was a little bit earlier than that. But he basically had this big spike. And then basically he got banned from the test server and then had a massive dispassion for Raid for a long period of time. And I feel like this might have been in the same way of what Ivy Lee's channel could have done. Yeah, you kind of like drop off because it's just like, well, this isn't really, I'm not really enjoying my content. He then decided to do other games. He did Diablo Immortal here and had a peak, dropped off again, and now he's picking up other games again, and he seems to be kind of gaining his traction back. So all I'm trying to get to with this, no No dislike for Stu, by the way. This is like a business view. If you decide to go outside of your niche into something else, it's probably at least like a 6-month downtrend before you can start to pick yourself back up again. Unless you get quite lucky, I think. Now, if I turned off Raid Shadow Legends on my channel, I'd see at least a 6-month decline before I was able to kind of pull an audience into a new direction. So that's the challenge, I guess, in terms of this type of business. You know, once you're known for a niche, to switch that niche is pretty tricky to do. But yeah, you can just see now Stu is starting to come out the other side. He's found himself a couple of other games, I guess, or he's doing slightly different content, and it's starting to work for him again. So there's definitely like a path to do it, and I hope that's, you know, Ivy Lee can get to that place really quickly and start to accelerate into a game that she really loves. But there you go, guys. Look, that's it from me. Probably a longer one than I was expecting, but I enjoy this type of stuff. Hope you did as well. I'll catch you later.